Guys, we're here outside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Arsenal have just beaten Tottenham 1-0. AFTV boys, Lee and Dan, how you doing, boys?
Yeah, very good. Very happy. Buzzing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
what-
in free fall.
I mean, this is the third time in a row now that we've come here, right, and done this to them. Do you think there's a real, I mean, I don't want to say a shift because Arsenal are usually on top anyway, but putting them back in their box a little bit?
Yeah, that's right. That is exactly what I said earlier on, putting them in their box. Listen, they've been very, what's the word I'm looking, boisterous about winning this game. They thought they was going to win this game today because of all our players are missing. But to come here and get that sort of result is a statement to say, look, we are bigger, we are better, and that goes and proves it.
Dan, how important was this result for the season? Because obviously last week, the controversy about Declan Rice, next week the fixture at the Etihad, this was a really big statement win.
Listen, the reason this is massive is because it gives us the confidence now going into these next two fixtures, which are massive. You know, you look at Atlanta away, you look at the Champions League being back, you've got Manchester City at the Etihad, which, let's be real, I didn't expect it to come this early. I've got to say, game week 5 or whatever it is. But that's massive confidence. Today, defensively, we've always got a chance at the moment with this Arsenal team. I think we're stacked at the back. I thought Timber was immense. I thought Gabriel and Saliba showed their absolute class. And I think that always gives us a chance now. When we've got defence that good, you've always got a chance of being in the title race now. And I think what Arteta has done, to be fair to him, is he's allowed to build from the back. The foundations are built. Defensively, we're so much better than we were. And it just proved that with a couple of players out today, Declan Rice is massive, Ødegaard, huge in terms of creativity. And we didn't miss him today because defensively we were so good. And that's what mattered to us in the end.
You mentioned the defence. Obviously, a lot of what has been built is being built on that defence, almost going back to the kind of the George Graham days. But do you think Arteta's maybe putting a bit too much emphasis on the defence? Because obviously everyone was crying out in the summer for a number 9, someone to really just bag the goals. He's put a lot of trust in Havertz in that position. Do you think maybe we should start prioritising the forward line a bit more?
Well, listen, I think it's a good point. But at the end of it, you know, we've gone away to Aston Villa, clean sheet. Away to Tottenham, clean sheet. So when you're up against the top teams, I think it's more about defending, making sure you don't concede, and then you've always got something like a set piece today that wins you the game. I think that today I wouldn't go too much on anything attacking today, because when you've got your midfielders, we just said Rice and Ødegaard out of it, you have to be different, you have to adapt, and that's what we've done today. And when you can adapt, it's easier to adapt defensively than it is attacking. So I think that's a key thing. But listen, you know, I think if we're to go on, maybe we may need that striker. But you know, Havertz today was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely grown into that role, right? I think a lot of Arsenal fans are kind of warming to him over like week on week. What game do you expect from Arsenal next weekend at the Etihad? Do you think it's going to be a bit cagey? Kind of, you know, we sat back a little bit today and had to sort of absorb the pressure. I mean, City are going to have that in abundance, right?
Yeah, I expect very similar to what I've seen at Villa Park and today. I really do. I think defensively we are so good at the moment, and that always gives us a little bit of confidence going into it. I think if we take the game to Manchester City, don't get me wrong, I actually think we could give them a good game. I'd like to see that, personally. I don't think that's in Arteta's mindset at all. I think he wants to keep things resolute. I think he needs to keep things compact. Haaland didn't get a sniff against us home or away last season. You remember Gabriel and Saliba were phenomenal against him last season, home and away. If we can do that again, we've always got a chance. I will, however, say I think it will be foolish to solely concentrate just on Haaland. If you do that, they've got other players that can hurt us as well. We all know who they are, right? So Manchester City, for me, look very strong. They've still not got Rodri. They've still not got Ake, really. They've still not got Stones and Walker just come back. Obviously, Foden as well to come back. Their squad's been immense, man. So for me, it's going to be difficult. Do I think we can get 3 points? Absolutely. I think we can. And I think it'll be a massive win mentally for Arsenal to win this game. It really would.
Yeah. So we really need to get over that hump. Lee, what do you reckon about the Etihad trip?
Yeah, listen, it's going to be tough. You know, I don't know what's going to happen with Saka now, because obviously he went down towards the end. So, like, you know, if you're going to be without Saka and Ødegaard for the game against Man City, that's when your defence comes in key. Like, you know, listen, I take a point now. I'll be really honest, but what a statement win that would be to go to Tottenham one week and then the following week Man City and get 6 points. That would be a real big boost. And we haven't done that for a while. Like, you know, when we was up against Man United in those fantastic title challenges, we would go to Old Trafford and get a result. You know, we'd win there, like, you know. So listen, I think if we could go there and win, that would be a massive kick in the right direction for us. I think it'd be a massive boost. But listen, it's not a game changer. I know if you win there, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go on and win the league, but it will be a real statement, and especially with them flying at the moment. They're flying, scoring goals left, right and centre at the moment. If you can, one, stop that and keep that a clean sheet, you know, like Spurs don't go that many games without scoring, do they? Like, you know, so if you can do that to Manchester City, which will be a different proposition, let's be honest, but if you can do that, wow, then you're talking about statement wins.
Can I just ask you guys very quickly as well, the size of the squad as a whole, is that a bit of a concern? Because I mean, what are we 4 games in now? It seems like we're being ravaged with injuries. That's difficult to take at any point in the season. But knowing that you've got pretty much the entire season left to go, is there a bit of a concern that we've left ourselves short in the transfer window?
Yeah, I think there is. I think we were too short. I really do. I would have taken an Eze or a Tony for pretty much a perfect window. If
We all.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what money we had. I don't know if PSR, if FFP got involved, but it looked as if we were reluctant to spend any more money than we did. And that does worry me. I look at the bench today, Jordan. I thought, that ain't a great bench. Other than Sterling and Jesus, I didn't know who 3 of them were, if I'm honest with you. So that's a worry. I heard a stat yesterday that we got the smallest squad in the league.
That's 22 players.
Yeah, that's not good when we're going for all 4 competitions. So that could be a worry. We've already got some injury problems already. We don't need any more, that's for sure. I will say, however, Mikel Arteta must have faith in Ethan Nwaneri. I thought he was very good today when he came on. I thought he showed a lot of confidence. So maybe we're going to see more of him than we thought.
I was about to say let's hope so, but then there's an element of that of like we kind of don't want to see too much of these young players. Like we want the trust to be there and for them to be bedded in, but almost like remember when Saka first came into the squad, well under Emery, and he was the shining light, and he was just overplayed, and even up till this point now he's barely had any rest in all of those years. So I think there's a case of bedding in someone like a Nwaneri, but now that we've got so much quality around them, I think it's probably a different story now. Do you think?
Yeah, listen, I think like Nwaneri, he's a quality player. Listen, if you're old enough or young enough, you're good enough. You know what I mean? And he's certainly good enough. I was pushing for him to play today. I see him in America, and I was well impressed with him. Like, you know, but listen, you don't want him to have 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Unfortunately, like Odegaard's picked up a real bad injury or whatever, so that's going to happen. Like, you know, I do think that. If I've been really honest, I think you've got 4 more extra games in the Champions League. You're hoping to go deep into cup competitions. I just think that we've just left ourselves in the squad department, just 1 or 2 players short. Quality-wise, I think we've strengthened the squad. Like if you look at the areas that we've gone in there, like mind you, I wouldn't have said that about Sterling's performance today, but it was tough for him to come on. Yeah, disappointing when he came on, I've got to say. But the squad looks like it's strong, but I just think maybe with all the Champions League games, extra games. Don't forget Saliba now is playing extra games internationally because, like, you know, he's France's #1 defender now. So I think maybe 1 or 2. And when you look on the bench, it stands right there. When you look at the bench today, it did look a little bit shallow. I'm not going to say weak, shallow.
Oh, I think that's a fair point. Just to round it off, then, Dan, you mentioned that we are fighting on all 4 fronts this season. How far do you think we can go? What do you think will be the priority, or what would be your priority if you had to sort of narrow it down?
Listen, I mean, my minimum expectation is that we pick up silverware this season and we go for a title race again. That's my minimum expectation. Listen, the order of priority, I want the Champions League. I want the one with the big ears because we haven't got it before. And it shuts off Man City and Chelsea. Obviously, the Premier League is right up there as well. I want a domestic trophy. I don't know why we don't take them seriously. I really don't. I think we need to this season.
So hang on, just sorry. You want the Champions League, the Premier League, and a domestic trophy?
I want them all, right? I want a quadruple and a treble. If I'm being realistic in order of priority, that's the order of I would go with. But we need silverware, Jordan. We need silverware for me. I think Mikel Arteta's got to win something with his team. And why not? Why can't we go and win the Carabao Cup to start with? And that then breeds some winning some confidence. Winning breeds confidence, and then you go for the league. It's no coincidence that Chelsea and Man City have won loads more than anyone else, and then they've gone on to win the big majors. So for me, I think that is fine by me. Win some silverware, go into a title race. It's all about trophies for me now. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, Lee, what's your priority?
Yeah, like Premier League. I think, like, to win the Premier League would be a big boost for us. It would then, over Man City, like get one over them would be nice because they are the best. And go deep in the cups. I agree with Dan. I think that's been a disappointment. But you need that little bit of luck in the cups. Last couple of seasons we've had Man City away, Liverpool at home. They're tough games. But I think go deep in the cup competitions, but keep challenging and hopefully, like, if you keep banging on that door, eventually you're going to smash it through.